Hello, everybody. It is your professor, Rocco, your boy, coming at you once again with another Age of Sigmar video. In this class, we're doing another Beat Rocco Batrep because, well, y'all got the 20 likes very, very quickly, actually. Um, and I owed this video, and I don't like being in debt, especially to my students here when I could be teaching you more stuff. So, in this battle report recap video, we've got the Beasts of Chaos piloted by Bradley, friend of the channel, versus my Stormcast Eternals list. And as the subtitle says, this was for a tournament practice session for Bradley that was going to be going to a one-day event to take out the new Beasts of Chaos with all their bells and whistles. And so we were going try hard, everything. The one thing I do want to say is we were trying out different builds, and I like what we came up with. So the battle plan was power and numbers. This is 6 objectives. You can see the deployment zones there. This is the one where battle line units have priority capturing objectives. This is starting battle round 2, and you can burn objectives. The longer you hold them, the more they're worth. Nothing is prime, so if you're playing in GUR with this and using the match play rules for that, at the beginning of the third battle round, whoever goes second gets to choose to burn an objective. You don't score points for it if you burn your opponent's objective, or your own, actually, but you remove it from the battlefield, and that can make this battle plan kind of swingy in how it goes. The fun things of this is that you're playing a bit of cat and mouse here, which is why I like it as a tournament battle plan. You're playing like, when do I want to burn it? What am I doing? Do I hold back to hold my stuff? How do I zone people out of getting my objectives? How do I take an objective off my opponent? There's a lot of mind games with this battle plan, which is why I like it for tournament play, and why I feel that it should be something that you practice kind of regularly in case it comes up in a tournament pack. So let's get to the lists. I was bringing Stormkeep Hallowed Knights. Lord Relictor is my general with the command trait High Priest to reroll my prayer rolls. The artifact, the Mirror Shield, so he couldn't be shot dead before I could use his translocation. And this is to be an anti-shooting meta thing. It's you can't shoot me unless you're within, I believe, 12 inches of my hero. And again, the prayer translocation to teleport whatever I want. I've got a Lord Castellan. I've got Gardas here. The idea is to save stack my 10 Vindictors. Give them the ward save from Gardas. I've got Liberators for screens that are also my battle line. Aether Wings here for more screens. I've got layers of screens if I want them to take up space. And also they're +1 to hit for the 6 Vanguard Raptors that everyone's scared about. I do have the shoot in the hero phase command ability once per game. I've got Dracolions because they're my favorite pet unit of Stormcast, and that would be in place of 2 Fulminators, or you could finagle in some more stuff. I also really love the Chariot, and I make use of the Hunters of the Heartlands. I'm not a 1-drop in my build of this. I like the tactical flexibility it gives me. I live off the 5-up ward save. If people go first, they're probably going to try to snipe Gardas, or they're going to go in for the long strikes that are going to be very tanky, that I'll do the all-out defense, be a 3-up, 5-up save, 3-up armor save, 5-up ward save, and then I'll just rally people back as they get hurt. And it's a pain in the butt for people to deal with. And if I go first, well, I'm shooting stuff, which is nice. Bradley's list here is Darkwalkers, Beast of Chaos. It allows him to deep strike up to round 2 with his stuff, which is not normal for Beast of Chaos. His deep striking is coming in from table edges. And as a note, my Stormcast is not using deep strike. It's not. I'm on the table. Sometimes with that build, I like throwing in a Rune Lord, but we're going in for a little bit of a harder thing here. Bradley's general is a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth with the command trait Nomadic Leader for the Darkwalkers. Also has the Arcane Tome to make it a 2-caster, and has the spell Hailstorm to try to have my movement and my charge rolls, and he's got the Corn Demon Prince to put up the aura. We've got Grass Track in there. We've got another caster. We've got Vicious Stranglethorns to pop mortal wounds off of terrain, heavy boards. It's a good list. It is. We've got 2 units of Dragon Ogres ready to go. A Cockatrice. We've got, because the Chimera and the Gorgons are behemoths, the Cockatrice and the Mindstealer Sphinx being a coalition ally are not. So we've got. Actually, I don't think the Chimera is a. It's not a. It's not. It's the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. Might be the 4th behemoth there. But yeah, we've got 4, 5. We've got 7 monsters in this list. 16 drops. We don't care. Don't care about drops. What this list does is it clogs up the board very quickly with durable Dragon Ogres that love the rend of the new Herdstone rules. Lots of monsters. It's very easy to score bonus points for monster battle tactics with this list. It's also very easy to give up monster killing points. So it's the risk you take. But between all the new summoning stuff, the monstrous rampages that come in with the new rules for Beast of Chaos, it's a strong list. Darkwalkers lets you teleport or put a monster in reserve depending on the keywords associated with it, which Bradley loves using on the Chimera, as you'll see in this game. And it's a huge anti-infantry build, anti-melee build, specifically because of the Chaos Demon Prince and that spell there from the Shaggoth. It's a fun army. And with all the summoning points you now generate, you can, through your summoning pool, tailor to what you need to fight your opponents. You need more monsters? There you go. You need Bestigor, you need Tuskor Chariots, you need more Cockatrices to pop off mortal wounds. This list gives it to you. So let's talk about our plan here for this battle. All right. We've got. I need to deny deep striking from Bradley. So I can't. I don't. He's gonna put a lot of monsters in reserve. That's the other thing with Darkwalkers. I don't want him to show up on my table edges in my backfield with monsters and all the summoning he's gonna do, because that's where all my objectives are. I need to layer my screens and delay Bradley from getting onto my objectives. He will eventually win this war of attrition because I don't summon stuff. I don't bring in reserves. I'm an elite army. It's going to be rough. I think he has probably between all the Ungor and the spoilers as many models as I do in my army, and then he has other stuff that he can summon. It's going to be rough. I need to avoid the Demon Prince's aura and charge from outside of it. Try to play the angles or just not fight what it's near. I need to try to sneak an objective off Bradley if I'm going to tip the scoring in my favor. And I need to really maximize my monster kill points because we're playing in Gur, and it's a way to run up the score on somebody. If they're going to bring this many monsters, I need to kill one a battle round to score that extra point. And in this battle plan particularly, I want to play for only 2 of my home objectives. If I can hold on to the third, that's great. But I'm not banking on it. Because if I do, I'm going to overextend myself being such an elite army. And I don't necessarily have the speed of like a run and charge ability to be the aggressor. And I really need to steal an objective just for a bit. Just because I just need to emphasize that. I put it on here a second time. Because if you take an objective off your opponent and then they take it back, it resets the clock on how long they've held it for how many points it could be. It starts off as 1 and it can go up to 8 points when they burn it. If I could reset an objective or 2 or just take them and burn them all, that's the dream. It'll be rough, but that's my plan, and that's how I have to play this battle plan. Bradley's machinations as the Beast of Chaos player. He wants to use his monsters to score bonus points, so it doesn't hurt when I kill his monsters. If we're going even, because I didn't bring any monsters. If we're going even, he does the battle tactic and gets a bonus point for a monster, and then I get to kill a monster. That doesn't hurt as much. And he's got so many monsters, he can score it through the whole game, and it'll be even. Now, he needs to deal with my long strikes. He actually does have shooting of his own in the Ungor Raiders. They're not affected by the new rend, but if you can get a monster in there or have flood me with so many options that I don't have the right option for my Stormcast to shoot, because I only have the one unit, and that is ideal here. He needs to protect his general for the grand strategy, because it's a monster. There's going to be a lot of monsters dying, and he needs one of them to live. And the Shaggoths are surprisingly durable, as with all the different healing they could do, from abilities, heroic recovery. They can be tough to crack. Tough for 6 long strikes? No. 3 long strikes after he's picked off a bunch of my dudes? Yes. He needs to use his Demon Prince to just deny any charges as possible. He needs to control the tempo of this game here, and needs to flood me with bodies. And again, he needs to win the war of attrition in this game. That's his strength. He needs to play to it. So this is a picture of my deployment zone. I went pretty even on what I'm trying to do. You can see Bradley actually measuring what the distance is between my block of 10. There's my block of 10 Vindictors. We've got my Priest. We've got Gardas, my Castellan here. Dracolines on the left. Chariot to help screen them out. Birds in the back. Birds here near my Priest to potentially teleport them up. Liberators. I got a strong middle here. And I think my right side is going to be my weak side. But again, I did a very even deployment. If you've seen our videos before on deployment, sometimes when your opponent has so much in reserve, you just need to be even to respond to threats. At this point, I've got my whole back line is screened. I'm screened up to 9 inches at the middle of the board. I'm in a good spot that if I want to go second, it doesn't really hurt me. These evocators are a little bit close to the chariot, where if I do give away first turn and he makes the 9-inch charge, he can get them. But I don't think I care that much. I'm probably going first, because Bradley, so he's got Grashrak and his boys off the table, and 3 Gorgons, the big murder squad. We've got the regular Ungor here in the middle to be his barbecue boys, to sacrifice to the Herdstone for summoning points. Dragon Ogres that I affectionately call Drogers, and more Dragon Ogres. And we did play with the different terrain rules. There should be a piece of arcane terrain around here somewhere. He's playing very heavy to his right side. And the Ungor Raiders have their pregame move where you can be more aggressive or move backwards. It's up to him. It's one of those things where he went so far to his right, he could fake me out and go left with his deep striking. But I'm not the hugest fan of this. Again, we were trying it out for the tournament, perhaps to just try a different scenario. I would have liked more of his stuff to be central too, because I could teleport wherever with the long strikes. To shoot whatever. And I think that if I'm going to do that anyway, why not just come with the board? If I'm shooting your Demon Prince, that's great. I didn't shoot any of your other important pieces. Again, give me too much to shoot at. And I will never make the right decision because there's just so many decisions to make. So this was, he had great line of sight blocking from the 2 terrain pieces in the middle and his own Herdstone, and whatever this was, this little stone monolith my mouse is on was actually the arcane terrain. So all his wizards are there. Life is going great for Bradley. And it's a decision, So I chose to go first, and this is actually a picture of the end of battle round 1. So I chose the battle tactic of hold 2 objectives that are partially in my terrain. which are here and here. My hero phase shooting saw me obliterate a unit of dragon ogres. And then the rest of my shooting was... Oh, I also teleported this unit of Aether Wings up here to be outside of 9. And then I moved these Aether Wings up. And I zoned him out of probably 3/4 of the board of where he could drop stuff. I ran up my supporting units to, again, just control the table edges. When you're playing against Beasts of Chaos or Living City, you need to control the table edges that they can come in on. And it'll almost look like your army, like what I'm doing here, is a big U shape. That's how you know I did it right. Because this, like, these liberators here mean my opponent can come out over the tree. My objective is safe. Because they just literally cannot get on it. And I've zoned out the sides all the way around. And with these birds here, I'm able to zone out even part of my opponent's deployment zone. And I was able to, in my normal shooting phase, take these Ungor Raiders that pregame moved up to this terrain piece. I killed 8 of them. And I think I only sent 2 long strikes into it. I split my fire. And I rolled 4 6s for their 4 shots. Did 8 mortal wounds. And the rest of my long strike shot a cockatrice in my shooting phase to secure me that monster point. So, again, I did my battle tactics for 2. I scored 1 for killing a monster. It's 3-0. I have very firm control on the middle of the board and the table edges of where my opponent can come in on. So, Bradley plays a little cagey. If you look to the right here, you can see my Liberators are gone. And hidden in the trees is a Gorgon that showed up. Also, my Liberators put damage on them. It's just the new monstrous action for the Gorgon is to heal what it's killed in wounds count. So it healed right back up. And in Bradley's back right corner, for our position, our top left here, he ran 3 monsters. He cast the spell to make the Demon Prince a monster. Then he did the Darkwalker command ability to put the Chimera in reserve to just teleport and come out later at a later date and time. And I had actually put, as you can see here with this token, I had put the buff from my Castellan onto the Chariot because I was worried of the double turn where Bradley could come, like, let's say he kills my birds and then he's just showing up here, but he didn't actually fight them because his combat power he put into running these models instead of charging them in and killing the birds that have no armor save. And instead, the damage spell, he failed the Arcane Bolt that could have killed them. He shot off a long strike. And because his other shooting was in his other flank here, and I had already shot off the Dragon Ogres that were over here, he needed to screen out his own backfield, so I couldn't just, like, teleport something to steal an objective off of him. So he had to come in and try to whittle me down, and the choice was kill birds with shooting or try to kill long strikes, and he actually killed a long strike. I did not make a ward save, I think, until turn 3 of this game. It was very bad, and I rolled bad on armor saves, too. But, you know, this goes to show that, you know, dice are fickle things, and we have to make plans without them, you know? And I, being Stormkeep, I count for objectives that are in my territory. It's either wholly or partially, but you know, I count as extra bodies with my Liberators and my Spearmen. Then battle round 3 on all the objectives, I count as 3 bodies per model. So it's also a race to kill off my battle line, so I don't, you know, make up for the capturing power on objectives here. And he played it cagey. He played it defensive. He was playing for the double turn, and also playing so that I wouldn't do anything too crazy. And he tied the score. And don't forget, leave a like, subscribe to this video. We have a lot of repeat viewers here. to the channel that keep watching us but have not subscribed. It's crazy, I know, but I get the stats. It's like a 60-ish% of you, maybe almost 70, are not subscribed that watch our videos regularly. So please do. And if this video gets 20 likes, we will get you another battle report. And, you know, maybe I'll look for someone else that does TTS. I've done games before with different channels, you know, like the Pants Mafia when they were still making videos. Some friends of mine out in Texas that have had channels. You know, we'll find somebody. I don't know. Maybe we'll have Alexander, who did the how to play videos for 3rd edition. We'll have him on. You know. But if y'all are liking these videos and they get good viewer time, we'll do more. And with that little self-ad there, I actually won priority. And now I'm putting the heat on here because I'm using my evocators to be a response force. Same with my chariot. I'm just zoning out and doing as much as I can here. This is after the end of my turn on top of 2. So what I did here was I shot more stuff. I chose Bring It Down as my battle tactic, and as you can see, there is a Gorgon-sized hole over here where my long strikes went and secured me the battle tactic. I actually burnt my objective here, my home objective, to score me 2 points, which is why my score is 8. And then I killed a monster, which is why, so 2, 4, that's why I scored my 5 points. Because, again, I don't necessarily have the bodies to do this. I tried charging my Vindictors. They failed the charge. I prayed to give them a ward save from my priest. One of the generic prayers that no one uses. It's that or, like, do a mortal wound to another priest. Because my hope was to charge them out of range of my guy. And I failed it on the reroll. Again, I put on the extra ward save in case it worked, and I had to like pile in and fight. Because again, my hope is I kill these Ungor Raiders who had a very nice redeploy, and I steal this objective, and then you know, he either gets it and it's reset on him, or it's battle round 2. I burn it, you know, burn it for an extra point, and then I divide his forces quite literally. With a very tanky unit that would be a 2-up save with a 6-up ward. And the charge failed. But, again, I did the sure thing where my long strikes killed the monster. And I've screened him, again, more out. And part of this, too, is I stud 2 units of birds that are now controlling so much of this table. I've got from this oak tree all the way up to these huts. All that table edge is screened out, so he can't do anything with that deep striking. And the rest of the stuff has to come in on battle round 2 now because of the Darkwalker's rule. So my goal of controlling these table edges is going great. I'm picking my targets. The Demon Prince is off in a corner somewhere doing God knows what. And that's okay. It can go pray to corn or whatever god it wants. It just stays away from me and I'm fine. And then we go on to Bradley's turn here, where he goes to take a swing. He teleports the Chimera behind. This is a picture of the aftermath here. He teleports the Chimera actually onto this objective and makes the 9-inch charge with like a 10 or a 12. He did great. And also, all my birds are dead. He did the thing. We've got one Gorgon here that made the charge. Behind this tree is actually another Gorgon and Grashrak. And we've just slowly cut me out of his backfield. We've got screens moving up. He's got his summoner points going. He's doing good. He charged in a unit of Dragon Ogres to try to pin me in my half of the table. So I could not do my goal of stealing a point off of him. You know, we're having that struggle finally of his tanky, wound dense Dragon Ogres and the Chimera getting into the fight. I've lost 4 Vindictors because I can't make ward saves or armor saves to literally save my life. Um, and the shooting into the long strikes, But again, my right flank is collapsed right now. I've got 3 liberators kind of holding the line. I lost 2, but and they're fighting pound for pound with a 155-point monster when they're 115 points maybe themselves, and it's an even fight, which is kind of a shame for the Gorgon, but my right flank's pretty collapsed. So I'm just condensing down to 2 objectives here, and Bradley is slowly starting to reclaim ground throughout the board right now. So when he goes to summon stuff in later turns, now he controls most of this table edge again. You know? And I think I did more damage with the Vindictors exploding when they die from mortal wounds than they actually did in combat. But the Chimera's half dead. And, he scores his battle tactic. I don't remember what it was. I think it was. Oh, it was kill the unit that was near the herdstone. It's one of the new white dwarf ones, and my birds were danger close to that, so he scored that. I believe with a monster, which got him. No, it only scored 2 points. It didn't have a monster bonus point thing. That's why it's 5. Okay, we're good. We're good. But again, he moved up. He killed my screens. I still have layers of screens. This chariot's gonna act as a screen. I don't need it in combat right now. I need it to body block for me, so I can have my snipers and my Thundercats respond however I need them to. Because they're my remaining hammers as my Vindictors get whittled down. And we're having a very even fight, you know? And then turn 3 happens, and I decide to give away the turn. Because again, this is tournament practice, and this is a picture of the bottom of 3. You can tell I made the right decision. I burnt his middle objective here, so no one scored it. So now, if we all just hold our objectives and score battle tactics evenly, I'm going to win because I've burnt an objective of my own. I've made it so that we still fight in the middle. It's a very hard fight. But now the pressure's on Bradley to come at me. And what happened? With this Gorgon pinned on my right flank, his left, it stayed pinned. His battle tactic was actually broken ranks, and he failed it. I made my armor saves finally. The joke of Rocco rolls in my discords that I'm in, I start rolling better once battle round 3 starts, is true. But the Vindictors weren't having it. Again, 2 more guys died. It was rough. It actually pulled me out of combat, and I did lose another long strike from all the shooting. And then on my left flank, his right, the cadre of heroes and monsters is slowly coming up for this objective of mine. And I need to make a decision on, do I try to pin these guys back? Do I try to fight for it? Do I try to shoot them? What do I do? And the funny part is the Chimera dies in combat with my spearmen. Excuse me, with these dragon ogres so close to my objective, because I can't. What I did was I piled in alongside the Chimera because that's what they were closer to as I pulled casualties from my right. So I actually pulled the dragon ogres out of combat so they couldn't get a pile in legally and then get onto the objective. Nice little tournament trick there. Because if they had charged that turn, they still get a pile in because they get a combat activation. But they didn't charge that turn, so I was able to pile out of combat with them, so they couldn't get on and start trying to contest this objective. And I also have the bottom of the turn. But I'm in a little bit of a pickle when my turn comes up, because what battle tactic do I want to do to try to score maximum points here? I already did bring it down. I did the easy one of hold 2 objectives. I could look for maybe a conquer, but it's going to be a hard sell to reach any of this or clear out the middle here. So I have a plan, and it's actually broken ranks on these 3 Ungor that he's been sacrificing throughout the game to get summoning points. And and he's also summoned on more Ungor back here. These moved up here. That's why we've got 20 to just rain hell on me. But there's only 3 wounds, and yes, the Herdstone lets you bring back guys that are dead on a 4-up, but 4 long strikes should be able to knock them out when I give them all out attack in the shooting phase and hit on 2s and wound on 2s naturally. That's the scary part of long strikes, not the mortal wounds. The mortal wounds are nice, but you're gonna be taking a bunch of -2 Ren saves at 2 damage apiece anyway. Yeah, and they're a 6-up save when they're being shot. It's just gonna go through. And that is what I do. And as you can see here with the score, 20-5. Because here's what happened. I shot the guys at the Herdstone. I charged in. This is a very zoomed out view. My Draco Lions actually went around and charged the Dragon Ogres and killed them to a wound. The Chariot failed its charge onto the Shaggoth, and my Liberators have fallen back to just delay the monsters on my right flank. And now there's one objective left, and it's mathematically impossible for Bradley, because he dropped the battle tactic, to catch me. And I made a very nice 8-inch charge with my Vindictors, who, by the way, rallied a model back onto the Gashracks Despoilers. So I was able to go pile in, get 2 people on the objective. I counted 6 models. I very easily took it. And it doesn't matter now that these heroes are out over here and that these monsters are over here, because there's one objective left, because I burnt 3 of them. There's one objective left in play, and all I have to do is take it and reset it on Bradley eventually. And it won't ever be worth 8 points because there's just not enough game left. And I've scored, and I'm up to 20. It's 20-5 right now. And it's just grim, and then I won the roll off and we called it. Because then I just go take that objective and game's over. So what did we learn here? One, I love the scoreboard, but I did accidentally break it. I don't have Lust for Domination as player 2. I've hold the line. That's my bad, Onya, the guy who programmed that in the Dianoc table. The empty battle tactic is the Beast of Chaos specific one on player 1 side. And it was a great game. Bradley was playing his army to play my army. I ended up playing the battle plan a bit better. And it's one of those things where, Dragon Ogres, if they did get on my middle objective, their battle line, I didn't have any battle line on that objective anymore. So they would have taken the objective from me. That's how close it was to being a different game. And him resetting it on me was by literally an inch. And that's why this score doesn't, in the swing, the drastic swing it took in Battle Round 3, isn't indicative of the game. If he had gotten the priority Battle Round 3, we very much have a game that probably goes to Round 5, in all honesty. And he probably wins it, because at that point I'm out of bodies. And he's probably stolen my middle objective from me. It's one of those games where it was a lot of fun. I did not have as much shooting as it feels like with just the 1 unit of 6 long strikes. I miss the 2nd edition command ability where it was Anvils of the Helden Hammer and it was every hero phase you shot your long strikes, instead of this current one where it's just shoot once per game in the hero phase. I appreciate the higher cost of long strikes. I also think that Horde armies or armies like Beast of Chaos, where it's a bunch of cheap units you don't care die, just, they don't give me a good target. In this game, though, I was able to actually pick meaningful targets because Bradley played so passively with his build. And if I kill 2 monsters, guess what? I only get 1 bonus point for killing a monster. You know. Um, and it's one of those things where I knew the limitations of my army. I think Bradley overestimated his own limitations and could have come at me harder and faster. I also think killing my Aether Wings sooner would have been better because again, it was our fight for the table edge. Because I knew his army's playstyle because I play a similar thing in Living City. As a Living City player, I hate matching up into Beast of Chaos before they got buffed because we had to fight over the same table space to bring in our models. Because if they don't come in at the appropriate rounds, they count as being slain. So you're fighting desperately for table space to just bring your stuff on, let alone get it into a position where it's useful. So with an army like Beast of Chaos or Living City, as it's become more popular for tournament play, if you can deny them that table edge, like what I did with the Aether Wings, you have your own cheap way of doing it through a deep strike or some movement shenanigan. Do it. That's the important part of this. That's the lesson here. Was I was able to play the battle plan and also play against his army and delay him enough when he needed to full court press me. And he would have scored Beastmaster. I didn't click that point because we just stopped it there, but he would have scored it probably. It's because again, there's so many of them. But it was a great game. It was a fun game. It was a good learning curve here for Bradley. The neg 2 rend on everything definitely hurt. I just tried to minimize when it happened to me. It was unfortunate with the Chimera. And it was also one of those things where, yes, we were playing on Tabletop Simulator, but we were using the stuff that we owned. And, like Bradley doesn't actually own like 80 Tuskor chariots. You'll see someone put in a meme build. And we were working with what he had, what his summoning pool was, and like he was out of Ungor Raiders that he owned with what he had on the table. It was 30 or 40 of them at one point, and it was like, all right, here they all are. What do I have next? I brought Bestigor, I brought this, so I put back another Cockatrice. It's a lot of micromanagement on this army, and you need a lot of horde stuff, and it's a lot of moving pieces now. Once you learn Beast of Chaos, though, it is an army that will maul people, and they won't even have any idea how it happened. Because any losses you give them, they're gonna put back with their summoning points. And I'm a big fan of it all. And Bradley has a great future ahead of him, and it was a great game. And I hope he does good at his tournament. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to class today. Thank you for following along with this battle report. And as I like to say at the end of all of our videos, class dismissed. Bye.